Our next guest is a contributor for bearingarms.com, one of our favorite sites. And Erika Haas has recently posted an article about a new Gallup survey on gun ownership. She joins us live to talk about it. What's going on, Erika?
Not much. What about you?
I'm good. I'm in good spirits right now. I mean, it's a lot colder than I'm used to. Anything below 60 degrees and I just start acting weird. But, I'm handling pretty good.
It's 30 degrees here, so you got nothing to worry about there.
I think it is. Wait, I think right now it's probably in the 30s.
17. Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't do anything below freezing. It just, my brain just starts short circuiting. And so I apologize for anything that happens during the course of this discussion. So talk to me a little bit about this Gallup poll. What did you take away from it when you first read it?
So the main finding of the poll was that victims of crimes are more likely to own guns than non-victims. Mm-hmm. So it was 33% of adults who had been involved in a crime owned a gun versus 28% of non-victims. And those crimes could have been burglary, theft, assault, or vandalism. So personally, I didn't find it that surprising. I think it makes sense that people who have been victimized want to then go protect themselves and prevent that from happening again.
Yeah, it's like you don't do a survey about the people who have had a house fire, who then go out and buy a fire extinguisher in their new house. It seems it's like because when I first read it, I was like, when I read the title, I was like, am I gonna be learning about an elusive obvious that I never really knew about before, but I thought I knew, or is there something deeper here? What do you think?
Exactly. I read it expecting there to be some explanation that maybe I didn't know about, but that was pretty much it. The poll even says that they're not sure why the relationship exists, even if it seems pretty obvious, because they never thought to ask those people if that incident was what prompted them to go and buy a gun, or if they owned one previously. But like I said, I think we can infer that if the person bought it in response to the event, they did so because they wanted to now feel safer and prevent it from happening again.
Again, I mentioned this with the last guest that we had on. I think a lot of it has to do with this push to vilify the idea, or not even vilify, but just create this notion that, only people who are going out and buying guns are buying guns because they're paranoid about things that are probably never going to happen. While they talk about people who go out and buy guns because something happened, but they try to create this picture that people are doing this out of fear. I hear this a lot from a lot of left-leaning individuals who are anti-gun. This notion that I'm not going to live my life in fear, so I'm not going to do anything to protect myself against it, but I'm going to keep doing what I do, because I'm not going to live my life in fear. And it's a good mentality to have. You shouldn't want to live your life in fear. But I think they attribute the notion of preparing yourself for something that may happen as a result is somehow choosing to live in fear.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think it's necessarily out of fear, and the Gallup poll kind of touched on that a little bit, that it wasn't necessarily fear that was driving those victims. Mm-hmm. But I don't think wanting to protect yourself is something to be, like you said, vilified or.
Yeah, it's weird. It's one of those things that I constantly do come across pretty often, even in the way that people approach me or handle me when they find out that I carry a firearm everywhere I go. I remember when I started carrying, I was a little embarrassed when people would ask me, well, why are you carrying a gun everywhere you go? What do you think is going to happen to you? I'm like, I mean, I don't expect anything to happen to me, but I know it could happen. Just because I don't expect it doesn't mean it can't happen, It's
a nice safety net, almost.
Exactly.
You don't expect to go out and have something, like you said, happen to you, but knowing that you have it on you just in that rare event that something does, it's nice for that safety net, like I said, so.
Absolutely. So you recently just turned 21, correct?
I did.
Okay.
I did, back at the end of August.
Gotcha. And so now you are in a position to do what now?
I can apply for my pistol permit.
Exactly. So with that being said, do you have any ideas of what you are going to carry?
Specifically, no. So I live in New York right now.
Uh-huh. Oh,
So they have
poor thing. I'm sorry.
pretty strict
Yeah.
gun laws. Even when I do apply for my permit here, it usually takes up to 12 months about to get that application processed.
Hold on, a permit to carry?
Yes.
Okay, so you can get a permit to carry out in New York.
I don't live in the city.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, so
I live in upstate New York.
gotcha. All right.
So I can carry in upstate New York without an issue, which is nice.
Mm-hmm.
But it does take about, like I said, up to a year to process the application. At least that's what it was when my sister applied about a year ago. So it might actually be longer now.
Go ahead.
So, but I'm actually moving out of state.
Where you at?
Virginia.
Virginia. Okay. All right.
Yep.
Good
so
choice.
I think I might wait to get my permit there. But once I do, I'm not really sure what type of firearm I would purchase. And I would obviously like to go through the proper training so that I'm comfortable with it when I do have it on me.
Have you experienced anything in your life that you would feel was that kind of may have served as a catalyst for wanting you to go and get your concealed carry license now that you can?
I grew up in a family with many pro-gun, pro-Second Amendment family members. Mm-hmm. So I've always felt comfortable around them, and they've kind of urged me to get one for my own protection especially like I said, if I move away.
Yeah.
Being a woman alone in a city, they worry. So, but yeah, so that's just kind of pushed me to become an advocate as well and want to own one. So.
Gotcha. So when did you start your Second Amendment advocacy?
Probably back in college, which wasn't that long ago, obviously.
Back when I had to walk a mile every day. Yeah, good.
Yep. Because that's when I really started to get into politics and constitutional rights and things like that. And it was interesting because I went to Syracuse University, which is a very liberal campus. Uh-huh. So I developed opinions much different from many of my peers when I actually did research on my own. So,
gotcha. Well, I'm glad you took the time to actually do the research on your own, because I'm pretty sure it would have been a lot easier just kind of listen to all the friends that you did have at Syracuse, and they probably would have swayed you in a different direction.
Oh, yes. We've gotten into many arguments on the subject because we have very differing views.
Do you still have any of those friends left?
I do, surprisingly.
Okay. They're not completely close-minded, right? Yeah. No, that's good. That's good. So really quickly, how far do you want to take this? Like, what do you want to do? What are your aspirations as far as Second Amendment advocacy?
I would hope to continue to write for Bearing Arms. Mm-hmm. I went to school for politics and journalism.
Gotcha.
So I would like to be an advocate through my writing, and spread, the true facts and news without spinning things or taking things out of context. You see that a lot in the media. So I would like to tell the real stories. I mean, Bearing Arms, we're big on promoting stories about guns saving lives. We do a lot of stories on, the victims kind of turning the tables on the people trying to victimize them, whether it be a burglar or assaulter or whoever. Mm-hmm. So I like to, write stories like that and show people the good that guns can do and the protection they can offer. So. Well,
awesome. Well, you keep doing that, and we'll keep reading. But thank you very much. Thank you very much for joining us, Erika, and I hope you have a good one.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Be sure to come back.
Will do.
All right. We got another short break, and when we come back, the best-selling rifles of 2016.